Today I've forced every skill position player to change positions. Every quarterback, every running back, every wide receiver and tight end will all be playing a different position in this franchise. Now I have a real sneaky suspicion that this might end up one of the most ridiculous videos I've ever made. Now I want to begin by highlighting some of the craziest position swaps, starting with Puka Nacua as a 99 overall running back, and then you got Devontae Adams coming in as Puka's starting quarterback as a 12 overall, which I think there's absolutely zero shot that you guys can guess which out of position quarterbacks the highest rated. Now with Devontae at quarterback and Puka Nacua at running back, you might be asking, where's Matt Stafford? He's their starting tight end, definitely optimizing Matthew's strengths in this situation, which is just one of the stipulations today, as every quarterback that has had their position swapped has to start at their new position, which is why Matthew Stafford is the starting tight end, you know, as a 12 overall. Wide receiver room's a little interesting as well. Kyren Williams, Blake Corum, Tyler Higbee, Colby Parkinson, Ty Simpson. Now on top of all the skill position players, the highest rated player on every team has also been swapped, with Max Crosby here playing this season as a 27 overall running back. Now I do want to note, this took me 5 hours of blood, sweat, and tears to set up this roster, and I'm very glad I did. So I'm actually super interested to see how the NFL changes today throughout this season, and also see what out-of-position player thrives and ends up winning MVP, and also interested to see which out-of-position team ends up winning the Super Bowl. Now Genty's going to be handing the ball off to Max Crosby in the backfield, with him coming in also as a 12 overall. I'm interested to see, like, he's got to have good rushing stats, right? As mentioned, Max Crosby, I'm sure he's going to be a stud. Now the receiver room, Genty has to throw to, not the greatest. Fernando Mendoza as the number one, again, as all the converted quarterbacks have to start at their position. Now this is where things get interesting. You'll see a lot of players like Brock Bowers today. I mean, he's an 85 overall converted wide receiver, so hopefully he puts up decent stats for Genty. Behind him, you got Michael Mayer and Kirk Cousins. Now if I went over every team in depth, this would probably take me 5 hours, so I'm going to try to just hit the highlights, and we'll track every team as the season goes along. But I did think it was important to note, you know, Travis Kelce here as a 35 overall quarterback. Now I do want to say he's not the highest overall quarterback. We will reveal that later, but coming in as a 35, he definitely is one of the better ones. We'll have to see, maybe he ends up winning MVP. Xavier Worthy with his 99 speed at running back, dude, this is going to be interesting. Also, funny enough, Tyquan Thornton pretty fast. He's the backup running back. Justin Fields, the third string running back. Might be asking, where's Patrick Mahomes? And here he is as Travis Kelce's number one receiver. Kind of flipped there opposed to real life, but behind Patrick Mahomes, who comes in as a 43, which is definitely not the worst wide receiver converted quarterback in the world. Kenneth Walker not bad, Noah Gray not horrible, Rashard Smith back there. I gotta say too, dude, their tight end room is immaculate. Creed Humphrey is actually the highest rated player on the Chiefs converted to tight end. He's a 93 overall tight end. And I'll tell you guys right now, he's also not the highest overall tight end that we see today from a converted lineman. Now Rashee Rice is the backup tight end, so I gotta say, dude, this is probably the best tight end room in football this season. Now although it might not look like much, I did want to note I am pretty confident that the San Francisco 49ers have the NFL's best wide receiver room. George Kittle coming in at 84, CMC at 83, Jake Tongs at a 65, but it all gets ruined by Brock Purdy being the starter at tight end as a 12 overall. You got Christian Kirk behind him as a 79, and their starting quarterback, Michael Evans. And it's not uncommon at all for these quarterbacks to be 12 overall. Starting running backs, Ricky Pearsall, which is interesting. Another position swap that I absolutely love is J-Mo here as the starting running back of the Detroit Lions. Coming in with 98 speed, dude, don't be shocked if he runs for 1,200, 1,300 yards this season. Although I don't know if Sam Laporta being a starting quarterback will impact that at all, or Jared Goff being his number one receiver. Jahmyr Gibbs comes in as a number two. I'm a little shocked he's only a 79 overall receiver, but one of the best receivers in this entire video. Pacheco's the number 3, and Amon-Ra St. Brown, though, coming in as a 96 overall tight end. I'm very interested to see if the converted wide receivers at tight end can put up incredible numbers just like they do at wide receiver. Did want to shout out my Titans with Carnell Tate as the starting quarterback. Wan'Dale Robinson comes in as a 90 overall running back, which is super interesting. We got a really good running back room with Chim DK behind him. At wide receiver, Cam Ward's our number 1 as a 33 overall. Tony Pollard's the 2, Tajay the 3, Gunnar Helm the 4. Probably one of the most uninspiring wide receiver rooms in the entire NFL. I have to see how Calvin Ridley can play as a starting tight end. Now this is one I'm sure everybody's asking for. The Baltimore Ravens. Their starting quarterback's gonna be Zay Flowers. Him and Rashad Bateman might actually flip-flop throughout the season, but I don't think it's really gonna matter which one plays. Now at the running back position, we have Lamar Jackson, the highest rated quarterback converted to running back in the entire league. 89 overall, 96 speed. I am so interested to see if he can put up 1,000 yards on the ground as a starting running back. Everybody thought in real life coming out of the draft he should play running back. Let's see if those haters were right in this franchise. Now the rest of the Ravens offense is pretty interesting. Got Mark Andrews, number 1 receiver, 82 overall. Is kind of crazy. Behind him, not too inspiring, with Justice Hill, Adam Randall, and Durham Smythe. And then at tight end, we have have Derrick Henry. This is one of those position swaps in this video. I have no idea how it's going to go. I mean, at 6'3", 250 with 93 speed, you'd like to think he would be a beast. He doesn't have the best hands, though, so we'll have to see. Now, the Vikings are a team I just don't know about. We put Justin Jefferson as their starting quarterback, and at running back, got Kyler Murray, 69 overall. I don't expect much. He'll probably get hurt throughout the season, but we'll see. Maybe this is the position he was supposed to play. At wide receiver is not too incredible. We got TJ Hawkinson, Aaron Jones. We got JJ McCarthy as number 4. Tight end's not bad with Jordan Addison. And as we're going along here, I do want you guys to let me know in the comment section below which team you believe is going to put up the most wins, who you think is going to win the Super Bowl. Got Caleb Williams here, who is the odds-on favorite to be the Madden 27 cover athlete. He's the starting running back, which I have to say in this franchise, you can do a lot worse than Colston Loveland, DeAndre Swift, and Kyle Monangai as your top 3 receivers. Another one, you got Joe Thuney as the starting tight end. Dude, comes with that 86 rated. Got Luther Burden as the number 2. Dude, like, you consider Joe Thuney's blocking ability and obviously Luther Burden's receiving ability at tight end. This could be one of the better and most productive tight end rooms in football this season. I really want to see, though, if one of these converted linemen tight end that are high rated, if one of them can put up 1,000 yards this year, even though Joe Thuney's catching is 26. Now, with Chase Brown being the starting quarterback of the Bengals, he has Jamar Chase, 99 overall, as his starting running back. I believe the only 99 overall position swap in the entire video. So we'll have to see if this guy can put up 2,000, maybe 2,500 rushing yards this season. Which they're going to have to if the Bengals are going to do good this season. They have Joe Burrow as his number 1 receiver. Mike Gesicki as the 2. Yoshi Voss as the 3. Joe Flacco as the 4. Which, to be fair, like, Joe Burrow coming in as a 36 overall receiver. We've seen much worse rated quarterbacks in the receiver room today. Tight end, they got T. Higgins, which is definitely not bad at all. Another interesting one, DJ Moore as the Bills quarterback. Josh Allen as their running back. I don't think he's going to be as effective as Lamar Jackson, but we'll see. Maybe Josh Allen can push 1,000 yards on the ground this season. Wide receiver room outside of James Cook is a little scuffed. And Keon Coleman. We got to see if he can revive his career as a converted tight end. So there's going to be so many storylines in this video, I don't even want to track. Cortland Sutton, one of the higher rated converted quarterbacks in today's video, 31 overall. Running back, Bo Nix, 50 rated. Pat Surtain, the highest rated player on the Broncos roster, coming in as a 50 overall wide receiver. Ed Ingram behind him. RJ Harvey, 65. Jonah Coleman is a 59. Their new acquisition, Jalen Waddle's going to be playing tight end this season, which doesn't look like he's going to be bad, coming in as an 85 with 97 speed. And here we have it. The highest overall converted quarterback, Harold Fanon, just like we all expected. 44 overall. I mean, he has 77 throw power, 65 throw accuracy. I don't know why. Like, I don't think he played quarterback at Bowling Green. I would really like to know why that's the case, but Harold Fanon, man, we have to see, with him by far being the highest rated quarterback, if he can win MVP. Now, their offense is actually pretty good. Got Jerry Jeudy as the starting running back, 85 rated, which, to be fair, like, Harold Fanon doesn't really stand a chance because his number 1 receiver is Shedeur Sanders. Got Dylan Sampson, a bunch of running backs and quarterbacks in his receiver room. I mean, Taylon Green probably is the best receiver here. So yeah, I don't know if we put Harold Fanon in the best position for success, but let's see if that 44 rated could actually do something with this receiver room. At least at tight end, he's got Myles Garrett, 32 overall, converted over to the tight end position. And behind him, he's got Denzel Boston. So if they come out in 2 tight end sets, honestly, if I'm Harold Fanon, I'm throwing it to Denzel Boston every single time. Dude, if I sat here and looked at every single team, I'm telling you, I'd be here for 5 hours. Tristan Wirfs, 99 overall left tackle, converted to the tight end position. This, I'm telling you right now, how funny will it be if Tristan Wirfs ends this season with the most receiving yards in football? Especially, you know, when he has 48 catching. Marvin Harrison, kind of noteworthy at running back, 86 overall. Now, Trey McBride is going to be a lot of fun to watch at receiver. I believe he's the highest overall converted receiver in the National Football League. Now, behind him, a little shocked Jeremiah Love was a higher overall at wide receiver, but still not bad in comparison. Got Trey Benson behind him. Not real sure, you know, how Gardner Minshew is going to do as a wide receiver 4. Oh, guys, just realized, too, Jacoby Brissett's their starting tight end, so this offense is cooked. Ladd McConkey, not a bad running back either, coming in as a 90 overall. Justin Herbert is their number 1 receiver. I'm not going to lie to you, I really feel like Quentin Johnson could make a deadly tight end. Another very interesting setup here, Jonathan Taylor at the tight end position. I don't know why, but I feel like he's about to have a mammoth season. Now, this is the one exception that I'm making today where the actual starting quarterback doesn't have to start, because Anthony Richardson is going to be the starting running back for the Colts. Like, how funny would it be if you put up more yards than what Jonathan Taylor's done in Indianapolis? For now, I'm just going to show you the highest rated at every single position. Like I said, Harold Fanon is 8 overall higher than the second highest, which is Cam Skattebo, by the way, who is just insane. Maybe Cam Skattebo Scadaboo can win MVP. Maybe get over 5,000 yards this season. Like, the only 4 quarterbacks in the league that have a half-decent rating in comparison are Harold Fanning, Cam Scadaboo, Travis Kelce, and Cortland Sutton. The only other 2 that are over 12 overall is Cooper Kupp and David Montgomery, even though it's not by a lot. I must be already getting Alzheimer's. I know I said earlier that Jamar Chase was the highest-rated converted player. He's not, because he's tied with Puka, like we already went over, and CeeDee Lamb, who's a 99 overall running back. Nico Collins, 95 overall running back. So there's a lot of really good converted receivers over at the running back position. You got some other good ones, Jameson Williams and Lamar Jackson. This is the one I'm interested in. Travis Hunter as well, 87 overall running back. I feel like this is a good fit. Same thing with Ibuka and Tank Dell here. DK Metcalf, I feel like he's going to make a really good running back, as I think the same with Matthew Golden with that speed. Now, other running backs of note, Malik Willis is going to start as a 70 overall. I don't feel like he's going to be terrible. Also have Jaden Daniels, who's going to start as a 68 overall running back. Drake May, also a converted running back today, as a 64 overall. Same running back rating as Caleb Williams. Jackson Dart, also going to be playing the running back position, coming in as a 62 overall. And Jalen Milroe, he's not going to start at running back for the Seahawks, but I feel like with his 93 speed, this was a good fit. Bryce Young, I don't know about it, but let's see if he can prove us wrong. Imagine going from Bijan Robinson as your starting running back to Tua. Not a shocker, the top 3 rated wide receivers in the league are 2 really good converted tight ends. Saquon could be really interesting at the receiver position, coming as a 76. Same thing with Bijan as a 77. I actually feel like him and Jahmyr Gibbs, I really thought they're going to be high overall receivers. Same thing with Tyler Warren. Again, a little shocked that he's only a 74 overall wide receiver. Now, who's the highest overall quarterback who was converted to receiver? Patrick Mahomes, 43 rated, tied with Marcus Mariota. Trevor Lawrence, also not completely terrible, as the Jags wide receiver number 1 is a 41 rated. Baker's a 40, Deshaun Watson, 39. Dak's at 34, Geno Smith at 33, Tyler Shucks at 29, Sam Darnold at 28. Who's the worst rated quarterback at wide receiver? Davis Mills, Kirk Cousins, and Joe Flacco. We even got Aaron Rodgers at wide receiver at a 21 rated. And we actually have 2 99 overall tight ends, both linemen converted over, Tristan Wirfs and Lane Johnson. Now, this is one of the most interesting storylines to me. Who's going to perform better statistically at tight end? Like the 99 rated converted lineman, or like a Amon-Ra St. Brown, or a JSN, Drake London, or George Pickens, or a freaking Andrew Thomas, or Creed Humphrey? Jesus, that was probably 20 freaking minutes of me just scrolling through the rosters, dude. I feel like it was important, though, to set everything up. Probably like 95% of you have clicked off, but it is finally time for week 1, boys. As mentioned here at the start of the season, we are going to go week by week. Genuinely have no idea whatsoever what we're about to get into here. Yes, my Titans still suck. Now, I did want to see if there was like any completely like bonkers score line. I mean, the Eagles putting up 40 points is kind of impressive. Like, I was worried like all the offenses were going to put up, I don't know, like 10 points a game, maybe less. But hey, the Eagles able to score 40 points is kind of crazy. So at least the offenses are doing pretty well. Well, the Rams beat the Texans 34-5. That's an interesting score. And the Ravens, with Derrick Henry at tight end, Lamar Jackson at running back, scored 41 points on the Bills. Right here, you had a Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen matchup at the running back position. You had DJ Moore throw 8 interceptions. Well, that's gotta be a record. Okay, so that's why they lost by a lot. Interesting. Zay Flowers doesn't seem like the worst quarterback in the world. That's nice. Surely DJ Moore had to throw the most interceptions in a game week 1, right? There's no way somebody threw more than 8. To be fair, both of the converted quarterbacks did pretty freaking good, all things considered. I mean, Lamar ran for over 100 yards, had 2 touchdowns. Josh Allen had 67 yards. Both had the same yards per carry. So again, looking at this, like, there's a good chance that both these running backs run for over 1,000 yards this season. Justice Hill had over 100 yards, had a freaking long of 72. So it looks like the converted running back's kind of cooking at receiver right now. I don't think Derrick Henry did anything this game. Didn't even have a single catch. You gotta see these stat leaders after a week. Man, Carnell Tate, not good. He threw 5 interceptions. Okay, players of the week is gonna be interesting to track. George Kittle went the frick off. 7 grabs, 192 yards, 2 tutties. And on the other side in the AFC, Jaylen Warren had 9 grabs, 165 yards. Xavier Legette threw for the most yards. 324 in a single game is kind of crazy. Mike Evans, first good game, and him and George Kittle obviously had a really good connection. Rome Odunze threw 5 picks. Darnell Washington threw 6 picks. Oh, God. Ashton Genty, 7 interceptions his first game. Oh, my God. Jake Ferguson with a stinker. 0 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Like, that's got to be a record. There's just no way there's been a quarterback that's thrown double-digit interceptions in a single game. Like, at least already in week 1, we've already had somebody make history. So as of right now, looks like nobody threw for more than 3 touchdowns in a game. Kind of surprised Justin Jefferson threw for 3, but at the same time, he threw 8 8 interceptions. Harold Fannin, I mean, I guess he was efficient. Only threw 1 pick, 1 touchdown. That's the highest rated quarterback. Now, let us see on the ground. Puka Nacua as a 99 overall running back, 116 yards. Ty CeeDee Lamb, the other 99 overall. Interesting. They literally had like the same stat line outside of rushing touchdowns. Jamar Chase ran for 106. It's going to be really interesting, like I said, boys, if Lamar Jackson can end the season with more rushing yards than these 3 99 overalls. Jalen Hurts doesn't shock me. Good performance his first game as a running back. Drake May might be a little shocking. I mean, didn't have 4 yards per carry, but still 83 yards and 2 touchdowns is solid. Thought Matthew Golden was going to be a good experiment. He had a good game. Same thing with J-Mo. Basically the same exact stat line from them. Xavier Worthy, not horrible. And again, not horrible from Jaden Daniels and Malik Willis. Anthony Richardson, good game too. It doesn't look like any running back really had a horrible game or anything. Like maybe Bo Nix here didn't even get 3 yards per carry, but not like anybody fumbled 5 times a game. Jackson Dart didn't look that great either. Dude, this is just so interesting to me. Bryce Young only had 7 carries all game, so they must not trust him. Oh God, Max Crosby as a 27 overall, the lowest rated running back in the game. 18 yards and 10 carries. So there might be a good chance that the Raiders don't win a game all season long. Terry McLaurin had 10 carries at the quarterback position. He didn't do anything. Now receiving, as we already saw, George Kittle, Jaylen Warren, they went off. Kyron Williams, good game. Brock Bowers doesn't surprise me. Pacheco, a little shocking here at 4 grabs for 108. Chuba had 10 catches. Dude, the Panthers are eating, dude. No wonder Leggett had a good game. Now, like, who's the first real shocker here in the receiving column? I mean, maybe Damian Martinez here. Jordan Love had the best game of any quarterback at receiver this week. 5 grabs, 59 yards, didn't score a touchdown though. Brock Purdy, not horrible either. He did score. 5 grabs, 57 yards, same stat line as Jacoby Brissett. Dude, Andrew Thomas and Creed Humphrey kind of cook it. He had 6 grabs for 44 yards at 302 pounds. He literally outgained freaking Rashee Rice. Also interested to see if we see something crazy happen in the sack department with all the quarterbacks having low awareness. I really wonder if by the end of the season, we have somebody like finish with 30, maybe even 40 sacks. So with that, on to week 2. Hey, at least my Titans got on the board. Okay, a lot of blowouts here in week number 2. You had the Packers win by 40. Bengals shut out the Jags. Same thing, Lions shut out the Bears. Another shutout, friggin' Eagles beat the Chiefs by 30. So let's investigate. How did this happen? Was it like a lot of interceptions? I mean, Terry Mack did throw 5 picks. Christian Watson, he was all right, all things considered. Matthew Golden, an incredible game on the ground. Jaden Daniels struggled a little bit, but not horrible. Tucker Kraft, Josh Jacobs balling out. I mean, like, they definitely had a better game, but like in terms of the stats, I wouldn't have ever guessed they would have won by 40. Bengals shutting out the Jags here. Another 3 interception performance. That's funny. I forgot to mention. I had to put the other Josh Allen as a starting quarterback, and it's not looking too good. Jamar Chase with a decent performance. I'm wondering though why they're not putting the ball in the hands more of Travis Hunter when the quarterback sucks. They should probably be handing the ball off to him 20 times a game. And Joe Burrow and Trevor Lawrence, both the team's leading receivers, 3 grabs for about 44 yards each. And the Lions shutting out the Bears here. The Lions had 418 yards of offense. How? Sam Laporta, I mean, he's a gunslinger. 4 touchdowns, but 5 interceptions though. But we still take it. Roma Dunze with an absolute stinker. 6 picks on the day. J-Mo, not horrible. Jahmyr Gibbs, though, have a freaking day. I know there's only like a 78 rated wide receiver. We'll have to see how high of an overall some of these players can get to at their new positions. But man, screw that overall. 9 grabs for 174 yards and 2 touchdowns. Him and Pacheco, dude, are eating. Funny, the only team in the AFC North that's not undefeated is the team that has the highest overall quarterback in the league. And I do want to make a personal prediction here. I don't think the Raiders win a game the entire year. I mean, I guess maybe they could get lucky. I mean, they were pretty close against the Chargers. So after me saying that, watch them end up making the playoffs. Jake Ferguson having an absolute nightmare. 2 games in, he's thrown 0 touchdowns and 15 interceptions. I mean, Darnell Washington and Omar Cooper, I mean, all these guys having an absolute stinker. At least Genty threw his first touchdown. But dude, A.J. Brown is actually kind of killing it right now. 6 touchdowns, only 2 interceptions, 333 yards. Zay Flowers down here, 4 touchdowns to only 1 pick. Bunch of gunslingers here, as it looks like Xavier Leggett leading the NFL of all quarterbacks with about 600 yards through 2 games. And all things considered too, man, I feel like 61% completion percentage isn't that bad. Like some quarterbacks in franchise, like actual quarterbacks don't even get that completion percentage. On the ground through 2 weeks, got CeeDee Lamb, Lamar, and Jamar Chase all at 200 yards and above. Jalen Hurts not too far behind. It's Josh Allen, 5 5.3 yards per carry, even though he's on like a 70-something rated running back. And this one, not really a shocker either. Trey McBride through 2 weeks, leading football and receiving yards. Looks like we got 2 players over 4 sacks through 2 weeks, so not as crazy as what I expected. But what is kind of crazy is that we have freaking Jalen Johnson with 7 interceptions through 2 weeks. Like, there's a good chance that we have multiple quarterbacks finish this year with over 30 interceptions each. So what I think we do from here, boys, is simulate this thing to the midway point of the season. We'll get to the trade deadline and see if anybody's undefeated, see if anybody's still winless, see if anybody's running away with it for the MVP award. How funny, I was talking crap about the Raiders and my Titans lost to them. So at this point in the season, we have the Cincinnati Bengals kind of running away with things, 6-1 on the season. Chiefs and Broncos both with 5 wins on the year as well. I mean, the Raiders got 3 wins, and I said they're going to have 0. So like I said, they might end up making the freaking playoffs. Nobody's undefeated, but the Giants also are 6-1. Falcons 5-1 as well. So we already have 3 teams that definitely look like Super Bowl contenders, with the Saints, Broncos, Chiefs, Eagles, and 49ers all right there. Now, who has the worst team in football at this point? Is it my Titans? No, the Buccaneers. So I am kind of shocked. Like, I really thought we were going to end up getting a winless team this year. As of right now, it looks like the Bucs are going to end with the number 1 pick. God, Cardinal Tate with a stinker, brother. I know, like, 23 picks looks terrible, but I would not be shocked if there's somebody at this point that's already thrown for 30. Now, I do have to say, Wandale's a 90 overall running back. It's not doing as good as I thought, with only 3.7 yards per carry and 2 touchdowns. Receiving-wise, Tony Pollard, 307 yards. Cam Ward, not horrible, 250 yards through the air. Now, leading the NFL is still Xavier Legette. He's a gunslinger, but he's thrown quite a few interceptions. Look at James Conner here, dude. Like, what are we doing? 1,600 yards, 12 touchdowns, but 42 interceptions. Look at Ashton Jeanty here. How do they have more wins than my Titans? He has 3 touchdown passes, but 32 interceptions. Dude, Cam Scatterboo is tied for the best record in football, yet he's thrown for 9 touchdowns and 18 picks. I mean, at the same time, you have quarterbacks like Travis Kelce and Courtland Sutton, who have both thrown for more touchdowns than interceptions, dude. At the same time, keep in mind, they're 2 of the few quarterbacks that were actually over a 12 overall. I want to see, like, a Travis Kelce. He is up to, he hasn't gone up at all. He's still at 35 rated. But let's see here. The most passing touchdowns is Mike Evans with 21. And I do highly suspect that there is going to be a quarterback that has thrown for more than 42 picks, but the only question is who. Most interceptions in football at this point in time is James Conner. Matt Collins having a stinker, Amarian Hampton as well. I feel like Genty's probably having the worst season. Like 3 touchdowns to 32 picks, man. Like, that's definitely something like 5 years later can make you contract COVID. Jake Ferguson, like, all things considered, has had a much better last month and a half. I really thought he'd have 50 picks and no touchdowns at this point. Terry Mack and Chris Godwin have an absolute stinkers, and Chris Godwin has the worst record in football and doesn't really surprise me. Josh Allen is not performing like the real Josh Allen. That's bad. Now, who has the best completion percentage? Travis Kelce, Courtland Sutton, and Harold Fanon all completing more than 55% of their passes. And again, all things considered, that's incredible, dude. Like, on a scale compared to quarterbacks, it's like probably like 80% completion percentage. Now, let's move on to rushing yards. The best converted running back looks to be CeeDee Lamb, kind of running away with things here. 6.4 yards per carry, has 831, almost 130 more than Jamar Chase. Lamar Jackson's kind of fell behind, as has Puka. So it looks like the rushing crown's gonna be won by either CeeDee or Jamar Chase. But it looks like, of all freaking running backs, Drake May is leading football with 8 rushing touchdowns. Out of the top 6 rushing touchdowns, you got what, 4? Like 5 quarterbacks? Malik Willis isn't far back there either. Now, which converted running back is having the biggest stinker? Like, Anthony Richardson is not doing horrible. Expected a little bit more from Matthew Golden, maybe a little bit more from Rashid Shaheed and Chris Olave. Bo Nix is definitely not loving life as a running back. Ladd McConkey was a 90 overall, so again, a little shocked that he has a 3-point yard per carry average. Kyler Murray and Caleb Williams basically with like identical stats here. Tua, again, just not as good as Bijan. Okay, Max Crosby, as I expected, by far having the worst season because he's the lowest rated. I mean, he's had 115 carries, and he's barely getting a yard a carry. Like, honest to God, I feel like an average human being probably could do better than that. Now, receiving, George Kittle doesn't shock me at all. He's kind of jumped ahead of Trey McBride here. He also looks like the only receiver with double-digit touchdowns. Amongst 4 of the tight ends in the top 5, you got Jalen Warren kind of killing it at wide receiver, got 601 yards. Chuba not doing too bad bad either. Isaiah Likely as the Giants' #1 receiver on a 6-1 team looks to be pretty solid. Jalen Waddle at tight end looks nice. Jahmyr Gibbs not doing too bad either. Pretty much the same stats as Bijan. Now, which quarterback is having the best season? I honestly expect a little bit more from JSN here. There's just no way Fernando Mendoza. I think it was like a 29 rated. 21 grabs, 300 yards, not a single touchdown yet. Just a little bit better than Joe Burrow, like literally a single yard better. Shedeur Sanders with 4 touchdowns, 286 yards. He has more yards than freaking Bucky Irving and Luther Burden. Jacoby Brissett with more grabs and another yard more than Jonathan Taylor. Pat Mahomes at receiver, I guess not horrible. And a guy like Amon-Ra St. Brown, I totally expected more than him, man. There's just no way that Trevor Lawrence has more yards than Amon-Ra St. Brown. Pat Surtain, I kind of expected more from him too. Miles Garrett at tight end, 21 grabs for 196 yards. I expected more out of Quentin Johnson as well. Lane Johnson, 99 overall, doesn't apparently mean much. Only got 170 yards and 16 grabs. Kyler Murray, though, actually putting up some work through the air from the running back position. I mean, Kyler Murray had more receiving yards out of the backfield than Puka Nacua. The last thing I'm interested in seeing here, boys. Who leads the NFL in sacks at this point? Nick Bonito with 12.5. And I'm not going to lie, though. I'm a little shocked we don't have like 10, 15 players already in the double digits. I mean, he's on pace for like 25 sacks, so I really thought we were going to have somebody hit like 30, 40 sacks this year with out of position players playing quarterback, but apparently not. But what is going to be crazy here is the interception total, as we have Jalen Johnson with 10, actually. He had 7 after week 2, I think, and now he only has 10. So he might not actually get that record-breaker interception total this season. But we will find that out for sure once we take this bad boy to the playoffs. So which out-of-position team will finish the year with the #1 seed? Who's going to win MVP? Who's going to have a big second-half surgence? I mean, you guys thought this video was crazy. Like, I promise you, it's going to get even more nuts here in the playoffs. Safe to say this experiment wasn't kind to my Titans. So who finished this season with the best record? Of course, it was the Chiefs. Chiefs with 14 wins, the Broncos and Ravens behind them with 13. Bengals kind of fell off in the second half, going 11-6, but he did have Harold Fannin, the league's best quarterback, finished with 11 wins, did make the playoffs, so maybe he does go on a little run here. As it definitely looks like the AFC a little bit stronger than the NFC. Let's see here. The worst record this season goes to a 3-way tie. Jets, Bucks, and Commanders. Again, how the Raiders ended with 4 wins with Genty at quarterback and Max Crosby at running back is just beyond me. There's so much to get into here. Carnell Tate, 63 interceptions. God, dude, there's just no way they didn't have a cornerback this year finish with 30 picks. I refuse to believe it. And I really, really hope Carnell Tate didn't throw the most interceptions. And if he didn't, that is wild. Wan'Dale Robinson, at least he did have 1,000 yards in the year. A little disappointed, though. He only had 2 touchdowns. I mean, we only scored 22 touchdowns all season as a team, which is kind of gross. Tony Pollard had Cam Ward over 600 yards. I think it's okay for a converted quarterback. Okay, in terms of just our team, I mean, we had 3 players with over 11 sacks, and we had Alontae Taylor with 11 interceptions. I'm sure that's not the most in football. As let's do it, brother. NFL passing leader, Xavier Legette, the only quarterback that throws for more than 4,000 yards, while at the same time threw 63 interceptions. And I'm not going to lie either. It looks like there's some sort of glitch where it maxes out the interception total at 63. There's just no way all these quarterbacks threw for 63 picks tied. Like, I refuse to believe it. Hold on, I'm actually going to add it up myself here. God, throwing 10 interceptions in a single game, that's so bad. 73 interceptions Xavier Legette just threw this season. Now, Justin Jefferson right behind him, 3,500 yards. Mike Evans, who Bucks were having like one of the worst seasons, he finished with 3,500 yards. Cortland Sutton, not horrible. I mean, I think it's really respectable in a situation like this to throw for more touchdowns than interceptions. Travis Kelce did the same with 36 touchdowns. So let's see. Most touchdowns this season, Terry McLaurin is horrible. Absolutely freaking horrible. Most touchdowns, though, was Travis Kelce here. Kyle Pitts, kind of a shocker behind him. A little surprised we didn't have Harold Fannin up there, who actually ended with more interceptions than touchdowns. I want to see his overall quarterback didn't go up at all. He stayed at 44, which is really funny considering that's his actual jersey number. My God, dude. It looks like, what, 15, maybe closer to 20 quarterbacks hit that 63 interception cap. Zay Flowers actually started off the season really strong, so like, I don't know what happened, but that guy had a stinker in the second half. And again, I genuinely can't believe over like a full season sample size, we had 4 quarterbacks finish with over a 50% completion percentage. Now, moving on to the ground game, as this year's rushing leader was none other than Lamar Jackson. Dude, holy crap, we had 4 running backs with over 1,500 yards on the ground. Lamar Jackson, I mean, he had the most carries from what I see, almost 1,600 yards, he barely went up. So it's weird. I'm noticing like the out of position players are barely progressing at all. I don't know what that means, but oh my God, dude, maybe the haters were right. Lamar Jackson with the historical season, 1,600 yards, 13 touchdowns, almost 5 yards per carry, which is insane. Also, great effort from Jamar Chase. If CeeDee Lamb got like the 70 more carries or 50 more carries that Jamar Chase and Lamar Jackson got, dude, he might have ran for 2,000. 5.7 yards per carry for him, so he probably actually was the best running back this season. But Josh Allen as well, 1,500 yards, 10 touchdowns, which again is crazy to me because he only has 77 overall. And it's real interesting to me too because like from what I've noticed from all the videos I've done in Madden 26, I've pretty much done everything you could possibly do in franchise mode. Typically what happens is when you have a running back below like 85 rated, they suck. No matter what else, they suck. But apparently, Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts here, a complete anomaly as they're both like below 80 rated at running back and they're running for 1,500, 1,300 yards this season. Puka also is a 99, had a pretty good year. Matthew Golden, Travis Hunter, Nico Collins got up there. Jackson Dart, even though he had the most carries, it looks like with 344. I mean, he got over 1,000 yards, but still 3.3 yards per carry is kind of stinky. It looks like Drake May, despite only having 3.4 yards per carry, finished the season with the most rushing touchdowns with 17. I mean, I gotta say, I'm kind of shocked. I mean, we had what, like 15 running backs, maybe more than that, finished over 1,000 yards. Maybe Anthony Richardson does need to convert to a different position. Now, who put up the biggest stinker? Bryce Young, I guess not really a shocker, only 2.7 yards per carry. Max Crosby finished the season with less than 1 yard per carry. I'm not kidding you. Find the next overweight person on the sidewalk, and I would be willing to bet money that they could do better than this. Behind an offensive line in the National Football League, I really feel like 95% of you watching this could probably finish the season with better stats than what Max Crosby did here. Those shocked that Zay Flowers sucked running the ball. Like him and Terry McLaurin both had over 100 yards per carry at running back, but they barely could average over 1 yard per carry. Now, who had the most fumbles? J-Mo with 6. Now I'm excited to see this, brother. Receiving yards. The #1 receiver in the National Football League this season was Trey McBride. Not a shock at all. Ted McMillan with a huge surge in the second half of the season finished just behind him at the tight end position. He had Jahmyr Gibbs also with a huge surge in the second half. 1,300 yards from him, 18 touchdowns. It looks like that did lead football. So again, like I don't think overall matters. I mean, he's still a 79 rated. Again, it's really weird. None of these players converted position are going up in overall, but he is playing much better than a 79 overall receiver. George Kittle and Bijan, both with big second halves. They had 17 touchdowns of pop. So did Dallas Goedert, Jalen Warren, Kyron Williams, Arondé Gadsden. Kind of a fall off in the second half from Brock Bowers, but I guess his offense was just absolutely terrible. It looks like Pat Surtain had a decent second half too. I mean, like again, being converted from cornerback, it's not horrible, especially when you consider who was their quarterback, freaking Cortland Sutton. Did expect a little bit more from CMC, but I guess George Kittle got a lot of his targets. Now, I do want to see who the first quarterback is to pop up here. You had Creed Humphrey end up with 691 yards, 6 touchdowns, which at the same time, though, he did have his other tight end, Rashee Rice, who was actually tight end #2, finished with more yards than him. But still, dude, almost 700 yards and 6 touchdowns at 300 pounds as a converted center is incredible. Tyler Shuck ended as the best converted quarterback at wide receiver, 674 yards, 7 touchdowns. It takes a minute before you find Cam Ward here, who's apparently the second best quarterback at receiver. Baker Mayfield a little bit behind him, as was Joe Burrow, Shador, Pat Mahomes. I feel like Amon-Ra St. Brown, probably one of the biggest disappointments because he barely finished with more yards than Myles Garrett and Jacoby Brissett. Mendoza, 550 yards, 2 tutties, a little bit better, actually a single yard better than Sam Darnold. Brock Purdy at least put up 6 touchdowns. God, like Jonathan Taylor was the one I really thought was going to have a crazy year at tight end, and I don't think you can consider it a crazy year when you finish with less yards than freaking Fernando Mendoza. Andrew Thomas finished the season with 1 single touchdown, but again, it's not horrible for a converted freaking tackle. Breece Hall finished the season with the same amount of receiving yards than Geno Smith. Barely more yards than Lane Johnson. Quentin Johnson was another one that I thought was going to be an absolute phenom at tight end, but again, I don't think you can consider yourself a phenom when you had 2 more yards than Joe Thuney. Micah Parsons didn't have the best season in the world, as did Will Anderson. Aaron Rodgers at wide receiver. I mean, again, I think you put Aaron Rodgers at receiver in real life, and I highly doubt you see him put up 337 yards. A little disappointed Derrick Henry, man. He's another one like Quentin Johnson. I thought he was going to feast at tight end, but he didn't. didn't. Kyler Murray, not bad at the backfield. Matthew Stafford even put up 290 yards. Honestly, probably the biggest disappointment to me was probably Kenyon Sadiq. Like, he barely had any competition in the wide receiver room, first round pick, and he had less yards than freaking Geno Smith. And before we get into the playoffs, one final thing that's about to be absolutely insane. You can already see the interception totals here. Yeah, Jamie Sherwood at middle linebacker was 16. You best believe there's probably somebody here with 20. But first, I want to see the sack leader this season, Nick Benito, with 25.5. I really thought you were going to see somebody with over 30, but I guess the quarterbacks didn't get sacked as many times as I thought. But this is about to be nuts. The NFL leader in interceptions this season was none other than Jalen Johnson with 19. I really thought it was going to be more than this. Let's make sure to actually accurately count all of his interceptions. It's crazy. He started the season with 5, dude. Yep, 19 interceptions. Madden was right. Which, even though I thought the numbers were going to be higher, still at the same time, both Nick Benito and Jalen Johnson set single-season NFL records. But now it's playoff time, boys. Looks like as the 1 seeds, your 2 favorites are Cam Scatterboo and the Giants and Travis Kelce at quarterback and the Chiefs. But me personally, I would not be surprised if you see Harold Fannin and the Browns go on a crazy run here. I like Jahmyr Gibbs and the Lions too. They can be kind of nasty. So let's see here if Harold Fannin makes me look like more of a dumb hick than what I truly am. Oh god, they lost by 20. At least they didn't get shut out like the Bengals did. Texans took them down 29-0. Yeah, the Eagles, dude, I look so stupid. I just shut my mouth. 2 teams I pointed out got beat by 20, literally. Lions got shut out. Watch it to be like the most random team of all time that ends up going on to win the Super Bowl. I mean, you got some pretty crazy matchups here in the divisional round. You got Travis Kelce versus Cortland Sutton, David Montgomery versus Zay Flowers, Alvin Kamara versus Cam Scatterboo, and Cooper Kupp versus A.J. Brown. Again, at this point in time, I do think we see both 1 seeds make it all the way to the Super Bowl. With those words coming out of my mouth, the exact opposite's probably going to happen here. Dude, complete freaking domination here by the Broncos. Cortland Sutton outbattled Travis Kelce, and it wasn't even close. Bo Nix, more rushing yards than Xavier Worthy. Imagine the Broncos win the Super Bowl with Bo Nix at quarterback. Like, the scenes, the freaking scenes. Had Pat Surtain, man, finally started to learn that wide receiver position, coming up big when it matters the most. Pat Mahomes couldn't do it all himself at the wide receiver position. Outside of that, you had David Montgomery take down Zay Flowers. By the skin of his big, thick shaft, Cam Scatterboo makes it past the Saints. I mean, not a lot going on in this game. Both quarterbacks threw 3 picks, but at least Cam Scatterboo threw 2 tutties. Again, it's like the weird running backs who are having bad games are the ones winning. This is crazy, man. We're either going to have David Montgomery at quarterback or Cortland Sutton make it to the Super Bowl on the AFC side of things against either Cam Scatterboo or Cooper Kupp in the NFC. This is about to be absolute chaos, fellas, and you best believe I'm here for it. Your Super Bowl matchup, there's just no way, dude. We get Cortland Sutton versus Cooper Kupp. And it doesn't make any sense either. The Giants dominated from start to finish. I mean, had 100 more yards of offense than the Seahawks did. Scatterboo had a better game than Cooper Kupp. It's not like they ran the ball much better. I mean, likely balled out. JSN finally had his biggest game of the season. I guess just a weird game, and the Giants are knocked out and the Seahawks advance. While on the flip side, same thing over here, dude. Texans had like 50, 60 more yards of offense than the Broncos did. Both of the quarterbacks threw 3 picks. And again, dude, Nico Collins literally triple Bo Nix's yardage total, but yet Bo Nix advances to the Super Bowl. And honestly, I think this team is the favorite. I mean, they actually have a quarterback over 12 overall. There's no way they're going to win the Super Bowl with Bo Nix, right? I just actually refuse to believe it, man. I mean, the Seahawks, they do have pretty much 99 rated JSN, which their wide receiver room with Sam Darnold as a number 1 isn't too great. Rashid Shaheed at running back, Cooper Kupp at wide receiver. Who is about to go down here in Madden science history as the Super Bowl winner of one of the dumbest, stupid, most pointless videos I've ever done in my life? Bo Nix, the running back, and the Denver Broncos are somehow, someway, your Super Bowl champion. Again, I feel like this is the 4th straight game we looked at with the team with less yards, ended up winning by pretty much double digits. Cooper Kupp with a stinker, man. You just can't throw 5 interceptions in the biggest game of your life. Rashid Shaheed, again, outgained Bo Nix on the ground, but Bo Nix gets crowned Super Bowl champion with a 1.9 yard per carry performance. Pat Surtain, man, the freaking GOAT. What insanity, what type of brain rot did we just witness, dude? Although I had fun. It really felt like one of those old school RBT Madden experiments. Warms my heart a little bit. Now, for whatever reason you did enjoy this dumb, stupid, pointless Madden experiment, you can click right here to watch another one.